Hello, everybody, and welcome to THL Sunday Showdown. We have two matches for you this evening. Later on in the evening, it's going to be Diamond versus the Big Ted. But up first, me, myself, and I, you may hear him referred to as MMI for short, and NoGlocko in what can only be described as a Legacy Series Red Conference match. I am DollaBilz, joined by none other than RonMexico and Saku. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to be here.
Hi.
And so this is a Legacy Series Red Conference match between is F2L still Fade to Legend? Is that still correct? Is that right?
Forgot to Lose, I thought was
to Lose Red. Whatever your interpretation of F2L is versus Team Redacted, and currently sitting in the Red Conference. They are sitting at 57 points versus 62 points. The series so far has been some uphill sledding for F2L Red Series. So me, myself, and I hoping to right the ship versus NoGlocko, whereas NoGlocko hoping to accelerate Redacted's points gathering. Currently gathering points at a just a rocket propelled pace right now. We're going to see Druid Hunter Mage Warrior versus Demon Hunter Druid Warlock Warrior. We're still getting the bands in for you. But gentlemen, what do you guys think of the matchup spread that we have between these two players?
So man, this is a really hype match. These two players are exceptional. I've run into both actually pre-THL, and they're absolutely incredible players. Looks like a pretty good classes lineup spread across the board. Interesting to see what they're going to ban. My instinct says they might go double warrior, or maybe we see a hunter ban from NoGlocko, but interested to see what you guys think.
Yeah, Saku, what are your ban thoughts? Yeah.
I'm gonna say you could see warrior being banned for both, or even Highlander hunter from MMI might get slammed with warlock and blocked for NoGlocko.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. It's one of the things I've really enjoyed seeing over the course of the past couple of weeks since the second round of nerfs, primarily to Demon Hunter, Rogue, and Warrior, is how good Warrior still is, and how much Demon Hunter seems to have. I mean, it still is capable of doing very powerful things, but it seems like I don't really know how to put it into words. It's like not as brutally effective as it used to be. Yeah, it's not as explosive as it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, Demon Hunter is still quite strong, even after the third round of nerfs. They just kind of changed so that, oh, okay, you nerfed these super broken cards. I guess I'll shift and run different super broken cards.
And no rogues this week, which is another one that, actually looking at the F2L lineup, it looks like the entire MMI, Liquid Ox, Shiny Pants, the Lemur, and Lerper, none of them, not a rogue amongst the five of them.
They must have been listening to our hat.
And actually only two on the team of Redacted. So has three. It looks like there's three on the side of Redacted, but Rogue still seemed like it was capable of doing strong stuff. Is that not the case? Has Rogue fallen off that much?
It's a lot of luck.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like a class that's just a lot more targetable.
Mm-hmm.
And in a format like Conquest, it definitely is something that's a little bit riskier of a bring, to where, if somebody has the read on you thinking you're going to bring Rogue, they're going to bring Druid especially, and a few other classes that can just steamroll the Rogue, and you're in trouble. So I can see it reasonably being a thing that people are starting to shy away from.
Yeah, we can actually see in the matchup between Liquid Ox and Agent PWE, Agent Pee-wee, Agent Pew Pew Pew, depending on how many wins he got. Actually, all three. Pew Pew Pew. Pew. Yeah. We saw the Druid ban brought the Rogue. So yeah, that was the next thing I wanted to talk about, was actually the resurgence of Druid, one of my personal favorite classes, but I thought it was sitting pretty solidly at the tier 2 right now. Not really up there with the tempo warriors and the hunters and whatnot. But perhaps Druid was one of the winners of the recent round of nerfs.
It seems to be. I know
Absolutely.
I was a victim of it yesterday afternoon. Twice. So,
oh no.
But it's all good. So.
And it looks like the bans are in.
What are the bans?
So we have from Me, Myself, and I, he banned Demon Hunter. And from NoGlocko, he banned Warrior.
I mean, it just seems like you can't go wrong with a Warrior ban. It's still like a well-piloted tempo Warrior is still, and there's all the different. I'm perhaps wildly overgeneralizing with tempo Warrior, because you can throw in bombs if you want to go that way. If you're trying to maybe take advantage of Highlander strategies, you can go eggs. That was in vogue a little while ago. Right now.
Very, very reasonable bans from both sides. Especially, I like the Demon Hunter ban from MMI, anticipating that Warrior, the hardest counter to Demon Hunter, would be banned. So this is kind of exciting.
Yeah, and so that means we are going to have Druid, Hunter, Mage versus Druid, Warlock, and Warrior. And so the sort of the fourth decks from both of these gentlemen right now would seem to be the Warlock, which you can go a couple different ways. Obviously, we've seen Zoo. Was it last week, Saku, when we got to see a crazy lackey Galakron, Dark Pharaoh Takan Warlock?
Nice, that's spicy.
Yeah, it was very cool. And then of course the Quest Malagos Warlock has been putting up the numbers. Though there's so many different kinds of Warlock. It kind of reminds me of how Hunter used to be back when it was like, is it Highlander? Is it Dragons? Is it Face? Is it? And they don't all necessarily. A lot of them require very different play styles.
Yeah. Okay, so both players are going in right now. So we got NoGlocko that's going to be on the bottom first to spectate, and we got MMI on the top.
You asked for it.
Come, embrace the chaos.
Right.
MMI's got his spectate on.
Well, we can say for sure that NoGlocko is opening with that not banned Warrior, and meanwhile, MMI is going to be leading off with the Mage. It's still pretty safe to assume that this is a Highlander Mage, right? The tempo mages that I saw APX Void kicking around, those never.
Yeah, it's very likely it's going to be Highlander. And we can see from the hand running the Power of Creation as well that it's very likely a Highlander Mage. And we also see that NoGlocko running the Wrench Caliber, which really improves some percentages against Mage.
Yeah, so this is one of the things we were talking about not that long ago. If you want to make life more difficult for some of those Highlander strategies, you can shuffle bombs into their deck to both threaten damage in the future, of course, activate your Blastmaster Boom, and deactivate all those Highlander cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Anytime you can make Zeph just a 2-mana 3/2 and Reno a 6-mana 4/6, I think you're pretty happy about that outcome.
Oh yeah, and the only way to turn them back on is take 5 damage, and your ice barriers don't work. Like, oh.
Yep.
And so, looking at NoGlocko's hand, with the addition of the coin, it looks like he has the option, if he wants to, smooth this curve out a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to be just a pass. And we notice no hero power, I assume, wanting to make sure that those battle rages will at least draw 1 later on in the game.
Absolutely. It looks like he's really going in on trying to make sure Battle Rage gets activated. Passing, doesn't think the 2 extra health is going to be relevant in this matchup. I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah, what do you think about passing on passing and coining out a 3-cost card and just trying to go ahead and establish some board? Bomb Wrangler not good enough in the early game to coin 3 into 3?
I think he just wants to save the coin for something more expensive now because he knows that Mage doesn't really have very much going in the early game.
And the Mage is going to be able to employ a whole bunch of freezes. And I guess with a Risky Skipper in hand also, you can potentially activate a bunch of bombs and armor gain and all kinds of stuff. You know, if you want to go off, Mage will give you some time to go off if you have some multi-card combos you want to find.
They absolutely will.
Yeah. Looks like the development is going to be just the Mana Saber, just one of the finest cats of the last expansion.
With
Gonna be able
that
to-
skipper draw too, it looks like we're going to get to find out a little bit more about this list, whether or not he runs green skin or sky pirates, or if that's all pirates.
Yeah, gonna see. Looks like a Sky
Okay,
Raider.
the Sky Raider.
Interesting. Yeah, like you were saying, the ability to add in a green skin, draw it really consistently, and just get that upgrade effect. But it's also on a 5/4 body, pretty good. Me, myself, and I thinking very seriously about this Twilight Drake. Just going-
MMI has the opportunity, yeah, to go right into the power creation. I think that's what he wants to do. It makes sense.
Nice. Oh my gosh, double Reckless
Whoa.
Rocketeer. Wind Fury Harpy though.
That's
This-
not very high on health. He could push the 10 damage, but he knows Warrior has so much armor gain. Yeah, he might go for the Harpy.
Yeah, the Harpy doesn't do sort of deferring your damage till later, but so much damage. I guess also
You guys
myself-
don't like the Dragoncaster symmetry?
I don't think he'd surprise us with the symmetry, although it would be an entertaining choice.
yeah, and tic-tac-toe rules would indicate that he would win on the spot.
Time runs out on me.
It's,
Alright.
I mean, if he was playing Battlegrounds, right, he'd get that triple, it'd get golden, he'd drop a big
Yeah.
upgraded thing.
Yeah, just go ahead and get an early Malagos out. All right, so
Now
it looks
we're
like
looking at, does he
skipper
have
time?
enough to clear here?
that. Let's see. In conjunction with the coin, he's going to have to spend.
Must burn them all.
Play both skippers, but that'd be a little risky. I think the Armor Smith, maybe a Coin Bomb Wrangler, maybe a Sky Raider to look for a cheaper pirate.
Yeah,
Someone's gotta lead the charge.
the Hench Clan Burglar is not that cheap card that he was looking for. So we're just going to go ahead and draw 4. Unlike a 2-mana draw 4.
Much rage.
Yeah, and he's gonna leave one of these Harpies up, so that's 8 damage from the Harpy alone, with another 7 represented from those other 2 minions. Not the ideal clear for Glocko.
Yeah, and the Mana Saber still on the board means Me, Myself, and I has 7 mana to work with this turn. And even though there's not a, you can't do anything super insane, can't accelerate out this Alexstrasza, for example, there's definitely some opportunities to perhaps, get a value trade and do some Conjurer's Calling if MMI is thinking more about board control. Or like you're saying, there's 8 damage just in this Harpy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I think he was probably hoping for a Tiamat off the top, but he does
would
have the opportunity to Conjurers this Dragon Caster potentially.
What to
What
do?
he might be thinking about
What
after the
to
trade.
do?
And with the extra mana, it's interesting. It actually doesn't look like there's a great way for MMI to take advantage of the extra mana this turn. I'm trying to find some clever way to utilize it, but perhaps I'm just not clever enough. Conjurer's Calling on the Dragoncaster, of course, is too good. And let's see some Reckless. Oh my gosh, that's an Armadillo.
Oh wow. Those
and
are
a
some
Violet
big
Warden.
taunt boys.
He's
Yeah,
got something to buff too.
Oh my gosh,
See,
you're right.
Glocko's gonna burn a card right off the top, and it's a Brute. That's that could be a pretty important card.
Yeah, the Blood Boil Brute would have been pretty handy right now when we get that pretty cheap in conjunction with the Risky Skipper. And how do you get through these 7 health taunts? I have to assume there's no executes in this list.
Must
I'm not
burn
sure if
them
this
all.
list runs executes. I doubt it. It looks like the more control-y version, obviously, with the shield block and the shield slam.
Yeah.
So he could just elect to do that with a hero power and remove one of these taunts, but the question would still be, how do you kill that 8 damage incoming? So I think, yep, it looks like he just wants to get rid of the Harpy and the Mana Saber. That makes sense.
And now no longer has the coin. It would be pretty sweet to coin out this Kargath Blade Fist. And you have to know, 100% MMI has another Conjurer's Calling in hand. So anything that you set low without clearing
Haste.
is just gonna take some value trades or hit you in your face and then come right back as something else. To something
Yeah.
else.
And, I guess maybe he wasn't looking at the math right. I don't think I was either, because I thought he was going to have enough to kill the Harpy. That's still 8 more damage. This Harpy's doing work.
That is the most damage I've ever seen. Oh my gosh, that's a gyrocopter.
Oh wow.
So,
So that's
we're
both
playing
armor
mech
smiths
mage?
and both skippers for GlocKo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this mech mage is gonna just stomp these warrior minions here.
Gosh. And me, myself, and I, you were mentioning that that's the end of the armor smiths and the end of the risky skippers. So me, myself, and I doesn't have to worry too much more. And also, NoGlocko's got 11 health. It's turn 7.
Yeah, this is putting GlocKo in a world of trouble here. Very well executed by MMI in this game, just really snowballing an advantage.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And
And
now
that
that
bone
bone
wraith
wraith is a
is
4 mana 6/9.
69. Yeah.
Nice.
Don't know what that means, but yeah, 6/9 minion is pretty good.
I think we got 6 attack, 9 health, and no worries. Just
Must burn them all.
if I'm not mistaken, there is how many bombs are there? 1 bomb in the
Just one so far.
yeah. So this Blastmaster boom not only can you not activate the boom bots, but it only is going to generate 2 boom bots. Faceless Lackey is going to have to come up
GlocKo's
with
going
here.
for the armor gain. Yeah, just desperate to stay alive. I suppose we see the shield slam kill the Wind Fury minion.
Oh, interesting.
He's
Gonna
gonna
kill
leave up 8 armor. I mean 8 attack.
This will allow the clear of both taunt minions.
He does have. He's going for the gamble. The bot might kill the gyrocopter.
And it does.
It does. The gamble pays off. Wow.
Amazing.
And the amazing from MMI. These are, I mean, if you want an indicator as to what kind of position NoGlocko's in, like that was, you hate to put your game life in the hands of a boom bot.
That is quite the beefy bone wraith, as Saku pointed out. A 6/9 hitting the board for 4 mana.
Sheesh. And still reborn. It's just there's no downsides. It's just a 6/9 for 4 with reborn, and now this Faceless Lackey is going to come down. I'm not exactly sure what NoGlocko's looking for, but I'm pretty sure that the Librarian was not it. Just looking for fodder for the brawl.
Yeah, this is just increase your chances of your minions winning, or at the very least, the bone wraith dying.
And
He does get the bone wraith out of the way, and he wins the brawl.
all right, going to be able to Corsair cash out the last remaining Wrench Caliber. And there's a bomb.
And now the Highlander effects are back online. Unfortunately for MMI, he is not holding any Highlander payoff cards at the moment.
Yeah.
And we see with the Wrench Caliber in hand, GlocKo's just going to turn him off again.
Ugh.
Flame Board, Rolling Fireball, and Frost Nova. The choices. Rolling
Not
Fireball.
what
was risky.
MMI was looking for, I bet, here.
He wanted
No.
the box. He wanted the box.
He's playing for the people, and the people demand the puzzle box.
The people want to know what's in the box, but the Pilgrim
What to
disappointed.
do,
No box
what to
offered.
do.
Gonna take the Frost Nova, just go ahead and freeze out this 2/1, and also develop a 5/5.
He can kill the minion if he wants with the Ray of Frost. I don't know if it's the best use of Ray of Frost, but it is allowing him to use the mana. Yeah, he decides to pass on that. Probably a wise choice.
NoGlocko drawing his Corsair cash. Of course, no targets left with the Ankar and both Wrench Calibers accounted for at this point. So
Unless
we're
he
gonna
also runs a Lance in this deck, but I'd say that's unlikely, given he runs 2 Wrench.
That's true. That would be
Interesting options here.
yeah. The Feast of Souls, Inner Fire, and Totemic Reflection. The offers. With the risky skippers and armor smiths come and gone, especially the risky skippers in particular, Feast of Souls seems like it might be kind of tough to activate. Then again,
I
if you
guess,
can
yeah,
take
Totemic
forward-
is fine because it's just a buff. It's just +2/+2. That could be relevant.
yeah, and it might be able to get a surprise value trade at some point. We're into the later stages of the game where mana's not nearly as thin. We've got
All right, and GlocKo leaves himself dead to a fireball, so I think we see Caligos look for lethal here.
oh yeah, Calicos can find all kinds of fun options here. Fireball, like you said, Pyroblast will do it spectacularly, though. Perhaps overkill. But then again, there's no kill like overkill.
Here's the Calicos. Let's see if we get some fireworks. Oh, he has the option of some real fireworks in the puzzle box.
I mean, I guess it's got to be Frostbolt, right? Surely we Frostbolt.
MMI,
I mean, I
the
want
people want to know what's in the
what's
box.
in the box, right? I mean, puzzle box is the most correct, but
I mean,
surely he's
yeah,
gonna pick
the
Frost.
safe
He's
choice
going for the
would
box!
be. Oh, what a gamer!
Oh,
goes.
He's doing it.
MMI, truly a player for the people, opening with a mana burn. Unleash the beast.
That's good.
Oh, so good. That's a fan of knives.
Wow.
Has to be careful. I mean, it's not that MMI can do anything, but he's sitting on a grip of 8 cards in hand right now, and there's a lot of draw. Wow, a flame strike. Kill command is risky. Oh,
Himself.
oh no.
Another bomb?
Immolation Aura, very dangerous. Pharaoh's Blessing, very good.
10 damage on this turn. That is a very nice spell to end with, though. That's going to put him in really good shape.
Yeah, this is a gigantic. I mean, Divine Shield, Taunt. It also has
Rocco's just got a draw here.
2 mana draw 1, a little bit less impressive than 2 mana draw 4, but
And
we go to
Quartermaster is possibly an out. I don't think so.
needs to. Well, Kobold Lackey does not.
After that puzzle box, it just reminded me of the scene in Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, where the dad says to the son, "Our situation has not improved."
That's right.
And yep, GlocKo takes the hit there. Knows that this game is over. We're
Yeah,
gonna be on to game 2.
Oh, it could be double bomb.
Actually,
bomb
yeah,
in the
that's right.
game.
That's right. He took the outs. He took the outs for the bomb. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
But no, actually, the Highlander effect turned on, so there weren't enough bombs to use there anyway.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Because there's a bomb drawn off that puzzle box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
But still, ended flashy. I like it. That was a
That's
good
right.
way to go out.
And with that, we saw just a surprise. Man, I'm always surprised because I just instinctively, in all my long years of Hearthstone playing and watching, I just think of Highlander decks as control decks. But sometimes, man, they can just draw, and they play out like a mid-range deck. Sometimes they can just draw some cards, hit a couple of good, the Conjurer's Calling, for example. You mentioned the ability to just play out the spell, the spellcaster, get out the Power of Creation early, and it's just so much tempo so fast sometimes.
Right. I mean, that was a turn 5 drop, a 4/4 and 2 4/5 Wind Furies.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Embrace the chaos.
Certainly not the kind of ponderous pace that a lot of control decks can get away with, but it looks like MMI sticking with Highlander strategies, unless there's a very spicy way to build it where you still include Dino Tamer brand. I probably safe to assume that it's a Highlander hunter up, and it looks like NoGlocko going to stick on this warrior, this bomb warrior.
Spicy is a very diplomatic way to put running Bran in a deck with duplicates. I like it.
Yeah, I can. Maybe there's a way to do it. I've not seen it, but maybe.
But yeah, really good point about how Highlander can kind of shift between mid-rangey or aggressive or control. And we see that this is definitely one in that style. MMI's got a coin Felma set up, and we all know Felma always goes face.
It does. It always goes like with remarkable. I mean, it'll take 1 in 5s, 1 in 6s to go face.
And on GlocKo's side, I think he's going to play the Sky Raider here on 1.
Must burn them all.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a. I mean, I guess you could.
Got a pretty good line to take here with the Anchor showing up on 3.
Yeah, and that'll also make that Dread Corsair. Dread Corsair being the pull off of the Sky Raider Battle Cry, so that'll be able to come out for pretty cheap on 2 combo. Combo potential with Risky Skipper or something if necessary to deal with an always huffer that we see in hand right now for MMI.
Always Huffer.
Yep. And actually, with the draw of the Blazing Battle Mage, MMI will hold off on the coin Felma you were talking about to just go ahead and play a 2/2 and hang on.
Yeah,
to that.
that's probably one of the only times he wouldn't coin the Felma there, is drawing the Battle Mage right off the top. And now he just gets to hold the coin for something more expensive, like, I don't know, the 9 mana thing that gives him 0 mana dragons in his hand. Seems like a good one to coin and get out faster.
You mean to tell me that I can get an 8/8 and 2 free dragons, and I can get it on 8?
Incredible. Who
Well,
wouldn't want that?
All right, Ankar hits the field. We do see one of the ways that Dragon Queen Alexstrasza can be disabled with that Wrench Caliber coming into hand. This one has been buffed by a Corsair Cash. So this is 4 bombs over the course of 4 turns, though.
Yeah, very big pickup there. Maybe not a rush to play it, although as soon as it gets played, we're likely going to see Zeph give him the ooze to remove it. So MMI will play right around his Highlander effects getting shut off, it looks like. And hey, it's always Huffer.
It is always up there.
3 times tougher. There you go.
That's a great point about the Zephyrs, because obviously MMI knows, like in that instance, he had the option if he wanted to drop Zephyrs, and he would have gotten the 1 mana, deal 1 damage to a weapon. I always forget his name. The Bloodsail Corsair, I think.
I was wondering if NoGlocko was going to take the opportunity to drop the Corsair, the taunt, before attacking here, but he knows he can play it for free with the Wrench, so choosing to go off early with the Bomb Wrangler hits.
Yeah,
Thelma always goes face. Is that the rule too? I'm trying to remember. So many rules.
let me just go ahead and mouse over there.
Currently Huffer and Felma going face. MMI has what hunters do best: hit him in the face.
And oh, NoGlocko is actually playing Horde Pillagers as well to get back those Wrench Calibers and Ankar, and just, it's I mean, I guess if oh, never mind, I'm not even gonna say it. I was gonna make a pure paladin joke, but it just seems mean to play.
Who to shoot?
Oh, poor pure paladin.
Yeah, they get a 4/2 that gives them a true silver champion
Twice.
for 4.
Yeah.
Hey, that's good.
Yep.
But yeah, Horde Pillager definitely makes sense in a list running Wrench Caliber. Glocko's trying to target Highlander strategies here, and that could definitely help if we see a Zephyrs remove the Wrench that gets played.
Certainly. And NoGlocko now sitting. You mentioned that the Wrench Caliber will render the Dread Corsair completely free, so I wouldn't be surprised. The question is, does NoGlocko want to trigger another Risky Skipper explosion this turn? I would assume no. This is the last. Since it's the last Skipper, you probably want to save it for a rainier day than this. But he's sitting at 15 right now.
Right, but he is holding the Armor Smith, so it seems likely he'll hold back Skipper for the combo to go off with armor if things start looking dicey for him.
Blood and plunder.
Certainly. Dread Corsair.
He doesn't face tank this, does
It would be pretty brave. Set him all the way down to 10 against the Hunter.
A bit risky, but again, he has the combo, and oh, he's gonna go for the chance again.
Oh,
it? It would have been a good chance too.
Yeah, he just wants to get that minion off the board, take board presence. He figures he's not going to get lethaled on 5 mana here.
that's right. It's only turn 5. Man, these have gone so aggressively. These early matches have.
Oh wow, and MMI decided not to use Zeph for the ooze. Maybe he wants card draw with Harrison instead?
Harrison
Is he
Jones
looking
would be
for
awesome.
just board control with high main?
Yeah, I mean, with this setup, I have to assume that he wasn't looking for the Bloodsail Corsair, because that just wouldn't work. And
What
Zephyrs
to
obviously didn't
do?
offer it, but two durability is too much. Harrison Jones next turn for additional cards. Savannah High Main is just a good turn 6 play.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised we saw Zixer hit the board first.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm trying to think of what 1 mana
That weapon
card.
is getting swung next turn, so Harrison's only going to be a draw 1
Now.
and remove.
A mistake.
Okay.
Okay. MMI recognizes his mistake. Zixer can't clear the minion on board. Yeah, this may have been the wrong line to take here. We'll see if it punishes him.
And NoGlocko has a little bit of breathing room right now. Going to be able to gain a total of 8 armor this turn if he chooses to commit both the shield block and the.
Looks like he
Evil
doesn't
Coordinate.
need to with that lackey find.
Hey!
That was a really good lackey to find there. Now we can just press the button, gain some more armor, shut off Highlander effects, push damage, put bombs in. The game looks like it's really kind of flipping around in favor of Glocko here.
Yeah, MMI is gonna find himself under the gun here. Even even if this Harrison does come out, which at this point it looks like it's not going to, it looks like MMI is going to wait for the next weapon. And
Yeah,
kill
he's
Harrison
gonna go
now.
ahead and freeze space so he doesn't have more bombs and more damage come at him.
Bomb Wrangler off the top. Risky Skipper still available. We can't swing in another bomb, but that wasn't a super strong development turn for MMI, right? I mean, obviously freezing the face is definitely going to help in the next turn, but MMI
Right.
has resources available.
I suppose. I mean, it looks like GlocKo's considering the Skipper combo now. It would get some more boom bots on the board, which can help him push damage for lethal. And the Armor Smith can still gain him armor.
Yeah, and the addition of the Bomb Wrangler. Interesting. I was wondering if there was any possibility of just pushing that damage faceways, but since it wouldn't actually get MMI below 10, there's no, outside runner bombs. Might as well take the 4-3 off the board. And now Harrison is going to draw Dino Tamer Bran off the top, but NoGlocko has got a pretty significant board presence, and like you mentioned, that Skipper combo generated a lot of armor.
Indeed it did. This is looking dire for MMI.
Incredible.
I'm not sure what the emote meant there, but I appreciate the emotes.
Yes.
Always good.
Much rage.
Shield Slam, Blade Storm,
Storm.
Kargat. Yeah.
Blade Storm wouldn't be good, right?
Oh, and MMI said it bugged out. He was trying to go face.
Gotcha. So Kargath looks like is going to be the development play for NoGlocko. Can easily take this 5-4 off the board. Oh, actually opting to Shield Slam, just developing a 4-4, keeping all of the beasts off the board. So
Yeah, I really like this play from GlocKo, just really kind of pushing the threats, the board presence. We see Bran is a useless 2-4 at this point. Although a tracking could potentially get rid of bombs and activate Bran, it's still such a bad situation for MMI. I don't know if there's a real good way to come back.
yeah, this is going to have to be Unleash the Hounds, Rottennest Drake, and Siamat the options. Although with that tracking, I mean, Unleash the Hounds just doesn't seem, you'll get 4 Hounds, but it doesn't seem like quite enough. And he doesn't have enough mana to do a combo with Varanus either.
Yeah, and Siamat could be reasonable just to take a taunt. But this is a rough situation. I don't know if Hounds really has much of a payoff here, even though there's 4 minions on board.
Interesting. We're going to see a Varanus and potentially a Dwarven Sharpshooter hit the board? Or just hang on to that for hero powers in the future? Or maybe it's just going to hit the board and try to absorb bomb hits.
Yeah, this makes sense to try to flip the stats in your favor as much as possible. It's desperation time for MMI. And knowing the Horde Pillagers in hand, this is going to be... oh, he's not going with it yet?
I guess if it grabs an Ankar, he would be a little short.
Treasure? Loot?
I guess there's no reason not to play it first because... Or there was reason to not play it first because the card draw informs that you do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Shield Slam and Ankar are going to be used to go ahead and clear up the board entirely. And this Bomb Wrangler has seen some stuff. Like, this Bomb Wrangler has been injured several times, set to 1 life, and it just keeps on. She's got a never say die attitude.
Give it up for the little Bomb Wrangler that could.
Yes, and she is actually going to see NoGlocko to victory, calling her shot. Victoria.
I see the writing on the wall, and we are tied up again, 1-1. So the Warrior gets through with its strategy of shutting off Highlander effects.
Yeah, interesting that it took that. You were talking about how you're just specifically trying to make Highlander's day worse, shutting off the reasons you subject yourself to those restrictions. You talked about Zephyrs the Great, Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, and of course, Bran just being a 7-mana 2/4. Like, that is supposed to be one of the most powerful cards in your deck, with like an exclamation point and an underline, and just turning that into a 2/4 is tough.
Yeah, and I'm sure GlocKo would be happy if he goes back and watches the VOD to see that MMI was sitting there holding a worthless Dragon Queen and a worthless Bran in his hand at the end of that game.
Yeah, you talk about your strategy paying off. That is That's what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Oh, and we've got the dragon variant of Spell Druid here going up against MMI's Highlander again.
Interesting. Yeah, I've been seeing this kicking around. It's just it tries to take advantage of Breath of Dreams, which is just such a good card. It's that 2 mana if you're holding a dragon, not only ramp but also draw a card. And I was surprised. I remember back in the tome days, it's like how many spells can you play in a tome list, and it was a 3, right? It's like 2 Conjurer's Calling and a Power of Creation. That was it. But it looks like Druid is not restricted in that same way.
Yeah, and interesting on the mulligan that he just decided to keep the Mount Seller, knowing how powerful that card is in this deck. We're going to see the fungal draw. Do we have any discards?
Breath of Dreams, Overflow, Moonfire, just a 2 mana draw 3, casual,
discards.
sunglasses on.
Now on the other side for MMI, usually Highlander Hunter plays quite a bit on curve, and not having a turn 2 play is a little disappointing for him. He's going to just press the button and hit him in the face. It's what Hunter does best a lot of times. Hit him in the face, damage him some more.
Yeah, and actually, to that same point, not a really interesting turn 3 play either, even with the coin. We see MMI, potentially mousing over that Faceless Corruptor on 5 and just...
Right. I can see that he's likely going to drop the spear to set up a coin Faceless.
Yeah, but do you want to talk about what you're hoping not to be doing? This is supposed to be fairy dragons. Even, Zephyr's a great on 2 is fine.
Yeah.
It can either give you ramp or...
And MMI's hoping to not see a Glowfly Swarm hit the board on turn 5. However, we can see he will soon be disappointed as a giant flood of 2/2 Glowflies are going to surround these little minions here. The Battle Mage and the Locust, they're now looking a little overwhelmed.
There's a lot. They just fired up Fallout 3 for the first time and went... It's like, oh god, we're surrounded by Cazadors. And now, MMI trying to figure out how to deal with this board.
He's got the option of Hounds and Faceless, and I think it's very likely he plays a Faceless here. Yep, looks like he's gonna go with a little bit of presence and remove some things. Does the Battle Mage trade? He goes face.
Okay.
He expects GlocKo will do the trading for him.
And so now GlocKo hits an interesting juncture. Obviously, Overgrowth is extremely strong in the early game, but as the turns go on, it certainly decreases in power level.
Yeah, and he has the option to just flood again, so I think we might see that, just trades and flood.
Yeah, and especially with the Mount Seller already in hand and several cheap spells available, and that crucial 7 mana where Bog Beams and Iron Barks become free.
Yeah, we've got at least 2 currently that he can instantly play on turn 7 with the Mount Seller.
So MMI saw the Fungal Fortunes draw 3 and is got to be thinking, wow, no creature discards, both Glowfly Swarms. How do if you survive this wave, which is of course never a guarantee, Druid has been making excellent use of Savage Roar since 2014. But if you survive this wave, what in the world are you going to do against the Mount Seller board, or even just stuff off Emerald Explorer? This is sponging up so much of MMI's removal.
Exactly. I think given that there's just 4 2/2s, MMI might think that he needs to just send all the Hounds face to go pressure, because GlocKo is sitting at 17, and if you trade another flood, especially a Mount Seller coming down with lots of spells, would be disastrous. So with nothing to do to stop that, I think he's taking the right line here and just committing to face damage.
That's right. And Highlander Hunter is only ever 1 brand draw off potentially being able to just King Crush on 7.
Oh my goodness, and that Innervate off the top now enables a Crystal Power to be played as well. So that's 4 spells, where before it could have been 2. This is dangerous for MMI and looking good for GlocKo.
Yeah, NoGlocko's actually just gonna run out of board space. He's just gonna have and an Iron
Yeah,
First
actually,
Reaper.
because he has no room, he's just gonna have the 2 spells that he could have played anyway and just go in.
There's Bran. There's the Bran, and MMI has a little bit of life to work with, but not nearly as much
And
as it
what
looks like.
an awkward hand with all of those higher cost things. Not the mana to play them. Didn't even remove the 3/3. I don't think there's a point in
Well
swinging
played.
now and taking 3 damage. Yeah, I think MMI recognizes this is likely over at this point.
And actually, what an interesting point for NoGlocko, because you can do you can use the Bog Beam to clear this off, and then potentially use that Crystal Power. Still, you can use that to clear off creatures, but actually looks like gonna trade off the Blow Fly and heal.
Since he has the Emerald Explorer, if he doesn't have lethal here, he might just want to get more power on the board.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's right. Go ahead and play down a guaranteed large
Oh my
taunt.
goodness.
Wow.
Those are very good dragons. Glocko wisely takes the dragon that he already main decks, the best
Right.
one.
And I mean, might as well heal for 5, right? There's
Yeah, he's probably thinking about how do I lose, and even though that doesn't get any value off of a random beast, he doesn't need it. He's just gonna go with heal. Zeph off the top gives MMI a chance.
Yeah, Chaos Nova deals with all but the 2 biggest ones, so it looks
Yeah,
like
I
it's gonna
think
be
he
a
has
brawl.
to take the call, hope that the Mount Seller dies. That's enemy number 1.
Yeah. MMI really just betting it all on this Zephyrs winning the brawl. So close! Owl! A blast from the past.
I think he's happy with that. He gets to remove the owl too. However, we can see that Ysera could just hit the board. And that's a whole
Right.
new set of problems with overflow in hand.
Yeah, right on 9 too. This is one of the best situations to play Ysera. Totally even board state, and you just get to play a 4/12. And MMI has clearly been struggling to this point.
On the other side, he's got a Bran. And that's 8 damage to the face. Get him halfway there.
Yeah. And Ysera on her own is not able to clear off his King Crush. In conjunction with the swipe would be able to, but like you said, that overflow, I guess there's actually, with the Innervate, you can both swipe and
You
overflow
can
this turn if you want
overflow
to.
and innervate. So if you really want to, yeah, I think he sees the line. You want to punch the Ysera and then... Oh, sure, yeah. You can swipe first.
Oh no, Glocko, you're going to heal Bran. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Bran appreciates it though. Dream Portal's coming off, and you were talking about
here's
the
another
oh my
dragon.
god.
There's another Ysera.
Just all of the dragons are coming. All of the lore dragons are coming.
Oh, wow.
I think there's some
They all have
nastiness
spell
going on there.
Oh my goodness.
No, gotta throw that 7/7 back.
Yep. Yeah, this set. What are you doing, 7/7? This is the 12 health club.
The only real answers in MMI's deck to this have already been played. Zephyrus and Hounds comboing with Varanus. Well, Varanus can set these to 1, but then what?
Yeah. That is.
I think you gotta rip the Dragon Queen and pray it gives you a Deathwing and just clear out the whole board.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna take. Like a vanilla Deathwing. The
OG.
yeah, and
These
oh,
dragons
that's
are
a Wax
doing
Dread.
and that's gonna be a 2-1 for NoGlocko. The Spell Druid doing Spell Druid things.
That's interesting. I haven't had the chance to take that particular build of Spell Druid for a spin, the Dragony Spell Druid, but that was. I mean, it's a sample size of 1, but that looked fun. That looked fun to be NoGlocko in that game.
Yeah, it is quite a strong deck, especially so when you don't discard anything off of your Fungal Fortunes. And I think that was the main reason Glocko held on to the Mount Seller in the mulligan, 7 mana thing, saying, no, I can't discard this, and picking up the 2 Glowfly Swarms that just put him in such a strong position. Never look back.
It is a Quest Malagos Warlock. NoGlocko's last deck that has 2 chances to win is a Supreme Archaeology Malagos Super Plot Twist Extravaganza experience. And it looks like MMI going to ride or die on this Highlander Hunter.
Absolutely. And on Glocko's side, I think pretty clearly, we're going to see him throw back the Malagos and keep the 2 most important cards in this deck. Pretty important to keep the quests, and you're always looking for plot twists. So I think Glocko is pretty happy with his mulligan options right now.
Yeah, gonna be able to, and we actually see quite a bit of a. Well, I was about to say quite a bit of a better hand. There's actually a bunch of awkward stuff in MMI's hand, but we see the Storm Hammer, and that's a thing that's been conspicuous by its absence.
There
past couple
is
of
the
games.
Storm Hammer there. I don't know if he keeps the rest, but the Storm Hammer definitely has a strong argument to keep.
Yeah, and this is, oh my gosh, look at this 1, 2,
That's
2,
quite
3.
the curve. And
Yeah.
Sense Demons also very important on Glocko's side, as is Dark Skies. So we see strength versus strength right now. This is going to be interesting.
Was MMI reaching for the coin, potentially thinking to coin out a 2 into 2?
Since he does have the Fairy Dragon, it's very reasonable to drop the Felmaw and follow with Fairy Dragon into Stormhammer. That's a very strong play to have set up.
And NoGlocko is, of course, going to be dealing a ton of damage to himself in the early turns, life tapping, and all of his removal, praise Netherwings and stuff. Deal damage to his own.
Hunter does quite enjoy the fact that your button and my button both damage you.
That's right. When we both press the button, you lose 4 life. Killadan the Breaker, the draw. And, this doesn't seem Dark Skiesable, but, I can guarantee with 100% certainty that this Felmaw is going face.
Indeed it does, and we're seeing a lot of damage early from MMI, with 6 more getting pushed here from the Stormhammer. Unless he wants to... Okay, I thought he moused the Battle Mage for a second. I think this is the correct line.
Yeah, potentially thinking about what NoGlocko could do. You mentioned the Dark Skies in his hand, and that's going to be able to deal...
Pretty important draw right off the top to get some healing.
Yeah, that's a great point. The Sense Demons can help with that as well, moving into the later turns. But it's nice to get it naturally, so you can just, play out your Dark Skies and clear off that board presence.
Now an interesting decision from MMI. Does he just go max power on board with the 3 and the 1?
Yeah. Is there ever? Surely you never just drop this Dragon's Bane and hit and turn and look across with a flex like what?
Pray. Drop it and pray that it doesn't get cleared.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he just wants to go with the most power possible, send the most damage possible. He's still got another charge on that weapon that might go infinite. Oh no, he's prioritizing damage. Just damn it right now. Okay.
Interesting.
Don't miss pressing the button.
Yeah.
It could be quite relevant.
And that's a thing that Hunter, it doesn't seem like that much, right? But once you've managed to hit the button over the course of maybe...
Sense Demons, Glocko knows that's a guaranteed heal for.
And here comes that plot twist going to be ripped. And this is going to be, what, an 8 draw? 7 draw? Somewhere around there? It's a lot of draw.
It is quite a bit of draw. I wasn't tracking the hand myself for cards, but it's...
Oh, and another Broodmother draw.
Very close. And has the option to potentially heal him, which we see it does. He's now 4 cards away from completing the quest and back at 22 health with all the damage MMI has been sending. He's still 1 turn off of Dragonbane. Does he play the Scavengers?
Yeah, it seems like he can either do a Scavenger's Ingenuity and then just like a tempo Frozen Shadow Weaver, or be a little bit more, or potentially Hero Power Frozen Shadow Weaver if he wants to really keep committed to that ever-present Hero Power button. Could just drop the Bone Wraith, but it's not really exciting, and it's not very efficient either.
Right, Bone Wraith may be the thing that moves his game plan forward the least. And yep, he's electing, make sure I don't miss any hero powers, and 4 damage on the board now. We see his turns 6 and 7 look pretty strong with the Dragonbane and a Bran.
Yeah, it just needs to get NoGlocko into those danger zones. We're going to see...
Wow, questing adventurers right before the quest is completed. I think that's what Quest Warlock likes to see.
It's the right way.
Yeah, and actually could complete the quest with a hero power. Actually can't. That would actually set NoGlocko to 10 cards in hand, and the next draw would be a mill. So it's going to have
theoretically he still could. It just may not.
That's right. The
Especially
game
when
will let him do
that
it.
alley get burned off the top or something.
Yep, that would be. It is a legal play.
wonder
It is.
Yeah, but Glocko just wants to get cards out of hand so he can complete the quest and then tap without burning. I think that makes sense. The Moarg isn't super important right now.
Looks like MMI going to respect the Moarg, just trying to prevent the potential heal off of the Nether Breaths. And
Does he
now,
drop the Dragon Bane now and try to take the 33% chance that it goes face?
yeah, I guess with the. Okay, he's actually going to.
50-50. Lose the weapon.
All right, Dragon Bane, how feisty are you feeling? Not that feisty.
And Dragon Bane did not get the memo. Always go face.
Tome
That's
of
a
Origination.
right off the top.
Yeah, Moarg.
0.
Whoa.
Pretty good 0 to have.
Yeah. I'll gladly pay a 2 mana now for 0 mana Twisting Nether in the future. And so NoGlocko has some options to remove the Dragon Bane. I was actually, well, that was one of the questions I had is, would the Mortal Coil go in first to prevent?
Yeah, he could
a
go
draw?
Rain and Mortal Coil, which looks pretty good. Full clear of the board, and a heal, and a draw. I bet he would have preferred that Alex for 0, but at the end of the day, it can still set him back to 15 if he gets in danger.
Meanwhile,
MMI might be considering the Siamat Divine Shield Wind Fury. No, he just wants to go in. I agree. I think I would have done the same thing. Ran on 7, hit him for 8. Let's do it.
sign me up. And so, I mean, NoGlocko has the option to Twisting Nether this, does have the ability to hero power and see what the next 0 cost card would be.
And with that draw, Zephyrus is active as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 0 mana Malagos.
Oh my goodness.
So 1 Nether Breath has come and gone. We see a Soulfire in hand. I guess it's just going to be a Twisting Nether Abyssal Summoner just to get ready for the future. But like you said, with Zephyr's being great, that means, or with Zephyr's the Great being live, that means Dragon King on Straza is also live.
Very true. And MMI almost there for damage, but not quite. And with the OG Alex in hand, you know, we see Glocko's in very good shape to just heal right back up out of range of anything that could be thrown.
Gosh, that was just not the kind of board development turn MMI was hoping for. You know, develop a 2/5 taunt. Did manage to hit the button and does have a buffed up Zixor for the future, but this 8/8 taunt is really just slamming on the brakes right now. We can do some. We can. Oh, there's no Nether Breath in hand. I was gonna say there's the option to Malagos Moarg Nether Breath and just heal for exclamation points.
Right. Yeah, the option is there though to go with the Zephyrus now. Dragon Queen maybe is not the best move because it can potentially expose you to like a Zephyrus lethal burst. The safest play is most likely just Alex's own face, trade the taunt and trade the 2/2 and just try to set up killing him soon. He
And
goes with the risky play.
And he must play a dragon. No matter what he gets, something must leave his hand. Malagos, this replaces itself. That means another card's gonna have to come out. Explosion missiles and frostbolt.
Like he'll play the Feywing as well.
You have to play the Feywing though, NoGlocko, or else you're gonna mill your next draw.
I guess he could play the Mally if he wanted to. It would charge up that Frostbolt, but that'd be a little dicey. I think this is the right move. And no Zephyrus off the top, so it looks like MMI is in a heap of trouble here.
So I'm just looking at NoGlocko's hand right now. For 1 mana, he can do 17 damage from hand. Am I doing that math right?
Yeah, that's pretty insane. That's a +5 to Frostbolt and a +5 to Soulfire. My goodness.
And whatever he gets off Zephyr's the great. If Zephyr gives him a fireball, that would be.
Yeah, I think he would probably go Mally, Frostbolt, Face, and then play Zephyrus, because Zephyrus does actually recognize spell damage on board. So we can see this isn't going to be enough. This is going to do it. Looking at GlocKo's hand, that's going to be a 3-1 win.
Yeah, I mean, MMI just looking for any way out of this game. Certainly don't fault him for looking. Like, this is... I mean, he's sitting at 27 life, right? Like, that's... But you're just never safe. Once this Quest Warlock starts drawing cards for free, you can just never... You are never out of the woods. They can generate so much woods.
Yeah, MMI putting as much damage as possible, and we see 10 incoming on board. Yeah, that's another option too, Alex, and you don't even have to attack on board anymore. You can just kill him fancy.
Do it, yeah. Go for
Which
a
is
maximum.
exactly what he's going for. I like the flashy victory there.
Oh, yeah.
One well-played game throughout.
That was wild. And NoGlocko, I mean, let's not gloss over. NoGlocko sitting at 5 health. Think about how much NoGlocko healed off of those Brood Mothers several times, healed off another breath. I mean, so much healing, but MMI just 5 damage off over the course of that whole game. And you mentioned Mexico, the working in that hero power and just how much pressure that can put a Warlock under over the course of a relatively longer game. That one made it all the way to 10 mana crystals at least.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a lot closer than it looked. GlocKo's decision to play the Dragon Queen paid off, but if we had seen MMI top deck as Zephyrus, that would have been lethal the other way. So, you know, he had some chances there, but GlocKo just, you know, turning the screws to him, drawn well with that Quest Warlock, and showing what Quest Warlock can do, especially when they hit zeros on the right things. That was a very cheap combo that he was able to pull off for a heap of damage.
Yeah, and with that, that is going to be a 3-1 victory for NoGlocko and Team Redacted. That's gonna. There's only one match left between those two teams to play, but Redacted is going to be hoovering up some points this week. It looks like.
Yeah, absolutely, big victory there.
You know, I want to go back to the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Saku.
I was just gonna say we're trying to get him in for an interview, so.
Yeah, let me see if I can
I got
message him. What were you saying, DollaBilz?
I'm just thinking back through.
Hey, NoGlocko,
Hey.
thanks for joining us, man. Congrats
Hey,
on the win.
welcome, congratulations.
Howdy.
Man,
That was
what a
quite a set of games.
I mean, yeah, I'm just kind of surprised too. The Malagos at the end, I was.
That was a ton of damage for very little mana.
And before you say which one, yes. Malagos.
Yeah, there came a point when we were just like, wait a minute, can he spend 1 mana to do 17 damage out of his hand? And then we got to see it happen.
Yeah, but very well played throughout. I thought it was well played on both sides. Your warrior struggled a bit against that mage. You know, he had kind of a insane start, and then just had all the bombs and armor to beat up on the hunter. Very close fourth game or third game. In the fourth game, actually, I really wanted to ask you about the decision on the Dragon Queen Alex. Was there ever any consideration to try to heal yourself out of like a Zephyrus lethal range, or you just felt like that was the time to go for it?
I mean, honestly, I felt like having that Alex Strauza for my own face was like for his face, excuse me, was my my lethal setup. Like I thought that's how it was gonna go. I was either gonna have to top deck some sort of damage, or in this case, I was looking for heals off of Alex Strauza, but we found Malagos, and you know that all worked out. But
Right, yeah, that was a pretty nice hit off of Dragon Queen. Here's the 0 mana damage thing.
for sure, dude.
speaking of that first match in the Mage v Warrior and Hunter v Warrior, where the bomb list is cool, and I've been seeing a resurgence of it. Is that what are your thoughts on playing bombs versus playing other versions of that, sort of tempo warrior strategy?
I personally like that with bombs, it shuts down a lot of the druid and the warlocks. I've played a lot of it on ladder recently, and I've just really been liking how it beats just about everything with draw strategies in mind. So it's been that versus tempo. The thing I don't like about tempo for me personally is just I like control, and tempo just sometimes it doesn't draw as well, and I like the idea with control where you can kind of just, all right, I didn't draw perfectly, so let's just slow the match down, take my time, let the bombs do the work, that kind of deal. You're not in a rush to kill them.
That makes sense. You have inevitability on your side.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to let you know that you'll probably be pleased to hear that in the second game versus that Hunter, you shuffled bombs in when his hand was Bran and Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, and then 2 or 3 cards that didn't matter because he was dead at the time. But
that's exactly what I was thinking about when I put in when I played it on 5. I was like, okay, Bran on 7, can't have that. Bran on 7 is bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was worried that he was gonna tracking a couple of bombs out of his deck, or just even one would help a lot, but he didn't. So, or maybe he did. I don't know. I don't think it mattered at that
No,
point.
he didn't dodge a bomb, but it wouldn't have really mattered at that point in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Also, very interesting druid list. I've seen that on the rise a bit more. It definitely seems like that one's getting a bit more play. I've heard, I've heard it kind of from both sides that people are still sort of split on which one is the more consistent. Is that the list that you would favor more, is the dragon-oriented druid rather than the more heavy spell-focused druid?
I personally like this list more because it allows you to run Breath of Dreams first off, which is we didn't really get to see. Well, we did see that actually in one of the matches. I forget which one, but I think that card is still insane, and being able to abuse that plus like Malagos being there, I've thought of replacing Malagos because Malagos really isn't such of a game ending card in most matchups, because the best you can do is Malagos plus 2 Moonfires. It's more of a removal oriented card in my mind, but it's always been nice to have with Ironbark for the 5/15 on turn 9 plus remove all their stuff. So
Right, yeah, it's another dragon for the synergy with Breath of Dreams. It's also a very scary card for your opponent. Anytime they see a Malagos, they usually panic. So it seems like a reasonable inclusion.
Mm-hmm. I did play around with Onyxia a bit. That was fun for a bit, but I think having Savage Roar and all that makes it a little too inconsistent. But it was fun. So if you want to have a fun time, you can try Onyxia.
Nice.
very cool. Well, it looks like we are gonna have to run because I guess Diamond and Big Ted are just about ready to move into the second phase. Real quick before we let you go, though. So it seems like this was a pretty strong week for Team Redacted. How are you feeling moving into the rest of this? It's going to be THL Lemur versus Electabuzz, and then moving into the coming weeks.
I mean, I'm feeling a lot better than I did at the beginning of the season. I started out 0-3, I think. And this season for THL has been kind of rough because I've been more focused on Aspirant, which is another really cool series, and I'm undefeated. I went undefeated through regular season in, but now I have a few weeks to focus on this, and I feel like going into these next important weeks, I should be doing a lot better.
All right, excellent. Well, hey, congratulations on that 3-1 victory, and we will. Good luck in your future matches.
All right, thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. Congrats again. Take care.
All right.
Thanks, NoGlocko.
Maybe I will borrow that. Maybe I will borrow that dragon list. I'm just a sucker for dragons. I'll take just about any excuse to play dragons.
I like it. Yeah, you'll have to hit him up right after the show goes off the air. Be like, hey, send me that list real quick.
Right. And so that's one match in the books. NoGlocko winning over Me, Myself, and I. So coming up next is going to be Diamond versus our very own the Big Ted. And this is going to be moving into a last hero standing format. This is, of course, Hero League, Young Guns versus the Cult. Diamond versus the Big Ted. This is the last. This is going to be the last battle between these two. And so far, Young Guns been struggling quite a bit against the Cult. So Big Ted going to be hoping to put him away, and Diamond hoping for a shot at redemption here. Demon Hunter, Druid Hunter, and Warrior. Actually, I'm sorry, we have the bands in. So Diamond will be playing Demon Hunter, Druid, and Warrior against the Big Teds, Demon Hunter, Druid, and Hunter. So we're going to get to see some Demon Hunters.
Of classes, but different bands. So Diamond banning the Warrior and Ted banning the Hunter here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, especially in Last Hero Standing, it just seems like leaving up the Warrior is risky.
Absolutely. Although, honestly, it feels oftentimes that anything is risky.
That's true.
Risky skipper,
so
you
much.
know. Hence the name.
There's so much that can go wrong. So it'll be very interesting. Two really great guys playing each other. I'm excited because whoever loses, I get to tease them about it. So let's get this going.
All right. And the initial deck in Last Hero Standing is so much more. There's so much more riding on the very first deck pick in Last Hero Standing than there is. You know, we were talking about some of the peculiarities of the Conquest format. The first match, you know, especially if you're leaving up very powerful, you know, you're talking about the possibility of stuff just going wrong. You know, sometimes you just lose to Warrior, right? And it's like, well, okay, well, that's out of the way. Now we can get this thing. Like if you're trying to target Rogue, for example, it's like, okay, I'm not trying to fight against your Warrior. We'll get that out of the way. I'm trying to pick on your Rogue. Last Hero Standing, if you lose that first game, you really put yourself potentially behind the 8 ball moving into the rest of the series.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very swingy type of series format, and it's also a very swingy meta at the moment. So I think things can really get exacerbated when it comes to Hero. And I like to say that too, just to throw out some more defense for myself and my awful record so far in Hero.
All right, so it looks like it is going to be the Big Ted leading off with his Hunter up against Diamond's Demon Hunter. So a Demon Hunter versus a Hunter, and we see crucially in the opening hand for Diamond already, as this mulligan gets underway, a Battle Fiend and a Satyr Overseer locked and low. 2 Battle Fiends, a Chaos Strike,
That's
and
some
Satyr.
early power for sure. So Ted's gonna have a way to answer it, and those are some clunky cards in Ted's opening hand.
Oh, geez, look at that in a grand
Very
slam.
clunky, recognizes that and wants to just track right away. Look for something early game.
Job done.
Is going to
Might
find
be
that.
crucial to throw away that ooze though, as Demon Hunter can really punish you with weapons.
Yeah, Warglaives of Azeroth can really put a cramp in your board development. And now Diamond actually just spoiled for choice. Like, how many 1-drops would you like to play right now? 2? Yeah.
If only he had 2
I
coins, so he
grow
could just throw out all ones.
Time grows short.
Illidan needs pocket change, please.
I think
Please.
Diamond correctly puts out the Battle Mage. You can always scale up the Battle Fiend on a future turn. Oh, he's going in with both. Okay, that was the consideration here. That also makes sense because he has another Battle Fiend to immediately hit the field.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to play both the Battle Fiend, use that hero power. Actually opting to develop the Chaos Strike instead and just cycle. I say develop. There's really no development. This is just cycle.
Pushing a little bit more damage, charges up the Battle Fiend. I think I would have liked to see another Battle Fiend since Hunter doesn't have a whole lot that they can do in the early game to really deal with those minions, but
Have Thor's
Is it
hammer.
gold in the shadow?
Yeah.
And yeah.
and Ted electing to freeze the Battle Fiend.
Okay, and so now Satyr Overseer with this Twin Slice draw.
Right off the top with the twin sliced here, so he can play the Satyr and immediately go off with its benefit. And I don't think Ted would be too disappointed if the Belmont just killed the Satyr just to get it out of here.
Yeah, but it of course goes face. Wait a minute.
Oh,
What?
it missed
Yeah.
face. Diamond
don't-
blocked.
Re-roll.
Yeah, all right, we're gonna regame. We're just gonna regame real quick.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's been an update or something. But like you said, actually, Ted, not at all sad to see that satyr go.
I suppose you probably would have preferred to take 1 additional damage and leave a 5-1 battle fiend or a 5-1 Felma up with killing the battle fiend, but oh well.
Right. And
And we've got Diamond just putting on the pressure. Ted without too many options other than curve and remove the snowball minion.
oh man, with an altruist draw and sightless watcher ready to go at any time if Diamond wants to start going off. The second slice, of course, is only
Choices here. I think he may want to put Glavebound on the top of his deck because he has got a guaranteed hero power Glavebound turn. Next turn. Does he ignore the Whelp?
I think he might just be going.
10 at 15 and
Yeah.
the Glavebound incoming, second slice and Altruist in hand. I think Diamond should be going face, and I think looks like he agrees.
Yep.
Face is the place.
Gonna go ahead and push Big Ted all the way down to under 10 life. Oh, geez. Spear the draw is not exactly what you're looking for. Varanus is just, you're talking about what Big Ted can really do right now. Curve and remove. And that's the biggest thing that costs 6.
The onslaught is just too much. This is actually just lethal,
lethal,
straight
yeah.
up.
Yeah, that's right. Second slice, hero power, Glavebound Adept is gonna go ahead and bring this one all the way home. Wow. I mean,
Well,
Demon Hunter, we were talking about how this is the third round of...
power.
Is it the third version of Demon Hunter or the second round of nerfs?
Nerfs for Demon Hunter. They just moved on from some broken cards to different broken cards, kind of made the deck just a little bit more aggressive and, you know, keep going after them.
That's a great point, because there was versions of this around. You know, this sort of stopping at Skull of Gul'dan was already coming into vogue after just the first round of adjustments. Okay, Demon Hunter v Demon Hunter, let's do it.
Yep. And just to remind viewers, we're doing the last year standing format here for Hero Series.
Yeah, so,
You win
so that
with
means
it, you stick with it. The other opponent can't use his destroyed class.
and so that means that Big Ted thinks that his best chance against Diamond's Demon Hunter is his own Demon Hunter, which would either indicate to me that Big Ted has some sort of technology cards in there, some sort of tech cards in there to account for the matchup, or he really doesn't like the feel of bringing his Druid in at this point.
I think that may be right, since Druid is slightly unfavored against Demon Hunter at the moment. It is close, and I mean, there may be players that kind of debate back and forth, but Ted just going with, hey, my Demon Hunter can beat yours.
Yeah. And we see a pretty strong opening hand from Ted right now with the Battle Fiend and Hero Power going away, just chugging along. And of course, we see the Amber Wings ready to go. Meanwhile, Diamond has a bit of a more awkward draw than he did in the last game.
Yeah, not nearly the same level of power as he started with against the Hunter here. With none of the 1-drops, he really wants to play for 1. And he wants to hold back the sidekick instead of getting it for tempo. He wants to buff health on something.
That is interesting, because I mean, it obviously is not. It's not the most exciting play, playing out a 1-mana 1/2, but
Both players holding Shadow Weaver. I think
Is
we
it
see
gold
Shadow Weaver
in the
get played,
shadows?
and then Shadow Weaver gets played.
yeah, and it is so important that Shadow Weaver can target
Is it
heroes, because
gold in
freezing
the
Illidan just disables so many synergies. Although we actually are going to see Big Ted going to go ahead and freeze out the opposing Shadow Weaver instead.
Diamond holding an I-Beam that could just deal with this 4/3 here. He doesn't get the discount on it, but it may just be worth it anyway.
Yeah, that's worth mentioning, that 3-mana deal 3, heal 3, you know, paying full retail for an I-Beam is something you are allowed to do. I like playing golden cards as much as anybody, but sometimes you just need to pay full retail.
I got you, friend.
Interesting, Diamond elects to buff the 4 health with a 4 attack on board that can just directly kill it. I guess maybe he's trying to protect the 4-3 because that represents technically more damage.
Yeah, I suppose so. Just if that.
Ted going with the Warglaives though, and the second slice, that can actually just kill the whole board.
Wow. And these are the kind of tempo swings. You know, Demon Hunter is more than happy to spend its life if it gets iron, just an iron grip on the board. And Diamond is now stuck with this I-Beam in between a Warglaives of Azzinoth and a Kain Sun Fury, some of the more expensive cards in his list.
Although Diamond does have the option to just play a Warglaives again himself, it could remove the board. Actually, that's a big pickup with the Glaive Bound, since he's holding the second slice. Looks like he's mousing over it immediately. That'll be a board clear right back with some pressure.
Yeah, being able to develop a 6-4, very important. And it's becoming important for Diamond not to take quite as much damage. He's sitting at 13. Yeah, obviously as Demon Hunters, we are happy to spend our life, but 13 is starting to get a little thin.
And Ted, unfortunately, without a 0 mana attack someone with your face spell, means that the Glaive Bound that he just picked up cannot be an answer.
Hey, I got you.
He's just going to go with the widest board he can and send damage face, since he has the health advantage. We can see that an I-Beam can come down, but it doesn't really have that much of a valuable target.
Ultra.
Look big for later.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see both the Warglaives and I-Beam, and now Diamond's going to get a chance to strike back, clear off all these creatures, and start sending some damage Big Ted's way. And this is 9 coming in.
We see Ted holding the Glaive Bound, which is a pretty good answer to a Glaive Bound.
The classic, you'd like to Ziliak's second, or I guess modern, or currently is Siamat. Whoever gets to Siamat second gets to...
Fascinating that these players have an identical hand at the moment.
Oh my gosh, you're right. A complete mirror image right now.
For those of you who like symmetry, there you go.
There it is, except for the board. The board is not symmetrical.
True.
Saku, as production, can you smite that Glaive Bound Adept for the sake of symmetry?
I can just... Yeah, I could do that.
So Kain, too expensive to pair with Altruis. If he plays Altruis, it doesn't do anything to kill the Adept. He'd still have to tank the damage with his face. I guess he's just going for it now to put the threat of Altruis on the board. He's going to get really close to lethal, and we see if he doesn't remove this, he's dead. If he does remove it, he's dead. So Ted is going to pick up the victory here because Kain in a hero power is going to do it.
Gosh, what a... I mean, tempo Altruis is almost a contradiction in terms, right? Just playing a 4-mana 4/2 with a... I mean, we did get a single activation. But, yeah, no matter whether he takes this 6 now or later, it's going to be a lethal amount of damage.
And as often what happens with a Demon Hunter fighting a Demon Hunter, you know, the games end pretty quickly. Here we have a turn 7 lethal with Ted sitting at 11 health himself. We're all about hitting him in the face and hitting him in the face quickly.
Yeah, just think about how much health was lost over the course of that game. It's turn 7, both of them down to about 10. Well, obviously, Diamond reduced all the way to 0. But then, yeah, Big Ted did not have... And he had got off to... we were talking about how his hand was just less awkward, right? He had Umber Wings and he had Battle Fiend.
Not
Looks like stuff to do.
particularly powerful to start off, but Diamond with a little bit of an awkward early game. I think he missed an opportunity there. Just tempo can be so important in that matchup. Dropping the 1/2, even though it feels bad to not buff health, it oftentimes puts you over the top with that crucial additional 1 point of damage you might need to deal with a minion or pressure. But yeah, that was a matchup that pretty much just came down to who drew better and had a better position at the right time.
And they ended up with the same hand. Which is
Yeah,
so
Same
so
hand at the end.
yeah, so it really just emphasizes how important that early game was. And it's also, you were talking about the importance of just having a 1/2 on the board. It combos with the hero power so well. You just like get an additional damage in here and there. And who knows how that would have potentially changed the flow of that game. But now it looks like Big Ted, of course, like you said, is going to stay on his Demon Hunter. And now Diamond reaches for the Warrior. And this is an Egg Warrior.
Yep. Diamond queuing up the counter. It doesn't matter if it's a control warrior, an egg warrior, an enraged warrior. It still is heavily favored against Demon Hunter. And this is quite the curve for Diamond.
Yeah, we see Serpent Egg straight into Terran Fiend, and this is
On
going to be...
Ted's side, he's got exactly what he's looking for as well with the Umberwing and the Satyr on 2 and 3.
Yeah, and a guaranteed skull on the far side of his hand. Oh my gosh, he's playing Volpera Scoundrels. Neat. Just to get that second and third copy of Metamorphosis.
Hey, it can be all kinds of things. It could be more skulls. It could
True.
be more card draw. It could be an inner demon for lethal or something. Who knows?
Yeah. And
Diamond.
Diamond, yeah,
Looks
is going to
like
be able to build this board up.
Oh, yeah. Is he coining the Skyvateer or the egg? Going with the egg.
And actually, either one would synergize with old Terran Fiend. You know, Terran Fiend being able to generate a 3/4 or draw you a card.
True. I guess at this point he probably wants to just go forward instead of card draw. So that makes sense very much to just take the
So
egg
how
here.
does Terran Fiend interact with Risky Skipper? Does Risky Skipper explode, or does it get eaten?
I'm pretty sure the Gorfiend triggers first. Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
You possess true power.
100% on that interaction. So, science.
Yeah,
For all
we're
of you out
learning.
there who didn't know the interaction, now you know.
Mystery
Alright.
choice.
Going with the mystery
Aw.
choice. Didn't like
Yep.
the options. That one probably not going to be too beneficial here.
Yeah, command the Illidari. I mean, maybe his other Volpera Scoundrel, if he's playing two, will find a Feast of Souls.
And Ted just going wider, pushing damage. We see him holding another Satyr so he can get more board presence, followed by a skull for drawn discount. On Diamond's side, he definitely wants the value from Gorfiend. Is this just going to be a trade and a copy?
Oh my gosh!
Pretty
Now,
powerful play.
yeah, this. So now both of these Fiends have Risky Skippers and eggs inside of them, and they will come back with one additional attack and health. Big Ted's second Satyr going to come down.
Ignore these all together. Say, if you don't find Armorsmith, you're gonna die. So let's go ahead and just push damage now. Ignore the board. The board's too scary. Take a different line.
Livewire Lance the draw. Once again, not that Armorsmith you were talking about. So we're just going to see a 5-mana Blood Boil Brute hit the board to try to get this under control a little bit and cashing in on some of these Terran Fiends.
This is just gonna clear up the board completely. So now Ted is just way behind on board. Down to just trying to push damage over the top. Maybe he finds an answer with Skull.
Alas, poor
All right, Warglaze of Azeroth, another Skull, and Altruist. There's some great discounts in there, but this board is not going away to a series one Altruist Whirlwind board.
Absolutely, and with an Armorsmith hitting the board right now with 2 skippers already up, that's basically an insurmountable amount of armor to deal with.
Good gravy. I don't like to use language like that on stream, but geez.
As Diamond used the Bloodsworn there, knowing that he must not have known that his board was already full. Yeah, emoting the oops there.
Yeah.
He sees the mistake, but it's not really much of a mistake. You know, 26 armor.
Yeah, sitting at a comfortable, let me see here, 30, 41.
He did wind up, he had a very overwhelming board lead, and he gave Ted the opportunity to take the board away from him. This could be dangerous for Diamond at this point.
Yeah, Big Ted is not out of gas just yet. We still see a lot of damage, a lot of damage represented over time in the form of those Glaives of Azeroth. Those can deal a deceptive amount of damage over the course of its lifespan. That 4 durability, all
Absolutely.
the different things that buff the attack. Just
Diamond's hand, and well, fortunately for him, he does have a way to deal with the Altruist, which could have been real disaster. I think we see the War Ball take out the Battle Fiend as well.
This one's a real
yeah, very important to keep the Battle Fiend under control. It can just be huge. And getting a 3/2 off your Faceless Lackey, it's pretty good. Getting the Spellbook Binder.
Yeah, but Diamond very close to running out of gas. Ted with the cheap Warglaives to clear up the entire board with high health. This looks like a pretty decent position for Ted, all things considered.
Oh, he's going face. He's
That
dropping.
amount of health has really dropped down fast.
Yeah, all of the damage from Metamorphosis has been committed, and yeah, Diamond has.
That was 26 armor that Diamond gained, and now
How
it's all
much
gone.
26. Oh my god.
26.
Yeah, and it's all gone now. And I mean, Diamond seems like he's gonna have to draw, 2-mana draw 2. Armor Smith and a Blood Boil Brute.
Brute just barely too expensive to play, although if he does trade in, he can discount it, which he will do.
Blood eats our flesh.
And just gonna have to put so much damage on that. I mean, look, okay, yeah, Diamond is gonna go ahead and take away the value trade on Blood Boil Brute. If Big Ted wants to kill it, he's gonna have to use his face or something else.
Honestly, the rushers at this point now don't even look too bad anymore.
Yeah, actually, Command the Illidari would clear up the Blood Boil Brute, and
He could easily just hero power face and then hero power again to get 4 attack on War Maul. Or I mean on the Warglaives and kill the War Maul.
yeah, and with Diamond has really been starved for draw. That one Battle Rage notwithstanding, he hasn't found his Ankar. He's already used up his Livewire Lance and all but one Titanic Lackey from it.
Is it cold
It's not-
in the shadows?
Not able to find that Ankar in particular. He'd love to find his other Risky Skipper or something like that.
I think Ted wanted to use his hero power too, but didn't calculate the damage just right. I'm surprised he didn't just send an extra initiate in to clear this up, just to play around this exact card right off the top for Diamond. But that is going to help Diamond quite a bit deal with this.
Who in their right mind
Yeah,
hides
this
blue
Titanic
blood?
Lackey.
Extra important here. He's going to deal with a strong minion.
You
And
get that
Diamond's just
charge.
gonna follow it.
Holy smoke.
Ed, Golden Cane.
Yeah,
That do it.
this is gonna do
Wow.
it. 7
Kane
from
said-
Kane.
I don't care about your taunts. Hide behind your servants. I will still find you. And here we are with Ted finding lethal.
Exact, perfect lethal, setting Diamond to exactly 0. And
that play of the Bloodsworn on the board that didn't copy anything and wound up clearing a whole lot of things was ultimately Diamond's downfall, even though he wound up gaining 26 armor. Wow, that was quite a
Yeah.
game.
You have much to answer for.
special intro.
Between us,
The best counter that Diamond had to Demon Hunter is now out. But we're going
And-
to see the Dragon Druid again.
yeah, and this is one of those things that can have, last hero standing, a lot of times, you're talking about how polarized some matchups can be. And so sometimes you see a lot of 3-2s where whoever wins the first game and then a series of counter picks later, game 5, they get the last counter. Then sometimes you see someone win the unfavorable. And then all of a sudden, the web of counters falls apart. And now you find yourself as Diamond in a situation where you have to play your Druid up against a deck that does not very often suffer with consistency. You're playing a deck that has just sort of a built-in, you draw your deck upside down and you can't find your cards, whereas
Right.
Demon Hunter does not hit that very often.
And back to the wall against a, I think, very close matchup, all things considered here. With that kind of opener, Druid may be in some trouble.
Yeesh. I mean, Diamond might be in a situation where, this is where you'd like to Fungal Fortunes. All right, Diamond's not afraid. He's going to go ahead and just Fungal Fortunes. Finds his Overgrowth, Overflow, and Innervate.
Some pretty good draws there. Ted will likely just play the Battle Fiend at hero power. Just maximum damage and pressure.
So I have to assume the Dragon Druid does not have room to play cards like Starfall, right? There's no space in there with all the dragons and all the cheaper
believe
spells.
so. I don't think they run any clears other than Swipe.
Yeah, and that one. So I mean, Diamond's gonna have to decide: is it time to commit both Wraths, and in conjunction with the Innervate, and just try to hang on, That's going to make his glow flies a little bit less impactful, but it also gets him ready to overgrowth on 4 potentially. Oh, actually, just the one wrath so far.
He could also just innervate Glowfly Swarm into Glowfly Swarm.
I'm gonna win.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Which maybe... Oh, and Ted getting offered a Chaos Nova. He knows what he's up against. Does he take the board clear?
Oh,
He's
Oh.
looking for big damage. Go over the top. Okay, a bold pick off of Volpera Scoundrel here. Diamond, though, electing not to Glowfly, wants to ramp faster, get to his power turns quicker.
Gosh, are we going to see the double cycle on Chaos Strike just to get Big Ted deeper into his list and try to find more tools?
Yeah, damage and draw. Just try to get there as quick as you can. 2 twin slices in hand. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Big Ted is one altruist draw from just heading absolutely to Party Town with the twin slices.
Again, to ignore the taunts should any taunts appear.
Glowfly Swarm's going to come down. Bog Beam's going to be committed. Okay. So Diamond is going to set up a little bit of a taunt wall here to try to prevent Big Ted from just rattling face over and over again. But like you said, Kane's in hand, and there's a bunch of slices, and Diamond's sitting at 11.
But there is only one taunt, and with the Warglave's turn coming up, it all depends on whether or not Ted is worried about the kind
Wait,
of...
is this lethal damage? I think this is lethal. With all 4 slices, Kane, and the board.
Yeah, I didn't even start counting it yet. Ted must have been counting last turn.
Yeah, actually, so Diamond's choosing not to clear one of the 2/2s.
Yeah, that's gonna do it.
wow. That is crazy.
And Demon Hunter just has a lot of power sometimes. Can just get right through. Kane for the win in back-to-back games.
Gosh, and that's so tough. I mean, as Diamond, are you supposed to wrath a 2/2? Because we could see, you know, obviously with the benefit of perfect hindsight is if he had wrath a 2/2, he would have survived. But do you ever make that play in that situation, right? Is that ever, you know, you set up a taunt, you hope you, I mean, in what universe do you play around double twin slice Kane for 12 through your taunt that you just set up?
For exact lethal. Yeah, it's something that he could have considered, but it would be a pretty impressive play to have called it.
We don't need
Yeah.
to do an interview with Ed, right? Oh,
Hey,
hey,
Ed!
Ted, how are you, man?
Congratulations!
Goodbye.
Oh, well.
How's it going, guys?
Great
I'm very
win,
well.
man.
I think
man.
I think that entire series definitely flipped on Diamond playing the Bloodsworn Mercenary.
Oh,
And
100%.
although he did get himself to 26 armor, it was he had no more gas, and it was exactly the thing that that looked like flipped everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I was gonna I thought I was screwed when I froze his face by accident there at the end instead of the
thought-
1-4.
Freezing his face to clear his minion as well, because you could have either you know, hero powered well, actually after you froze face you couldn't have hero powered anymore.
Yeah.
But you could have still used one of your rushers that were just sitting on the board just to drop that to a 3 and kill it. I thought you might have been planning to play around Rampage.
Yeah, I should have. My initial plan was to freeze his face and use the hero power, but I wasn't counting my mana correctly, and then I panicked and just hit him in the face.
Right, but when Diamond dropped that big flood of glowflies on the final game, you're sitting here thinking about what you would do to get through it, and you drop the cane so fast. You're like, "Oh wait, is that lethal? Did he just count that already? You were counting that."
Yeah, like the entirety of his turn, I just kept counting over and over how much damage I had, just to make sure I didn't mess it up. And when he was at 12 and I knew I had exactly 12, I just ripped it.
In game 2, so you know, first tough loss on the first one, Demon Hunter versus or sorry, your Hunter against his Demon Hunter, and then
Yeah.
you queued your Demon Hunter into his. That was a pretty, that's you know, so sort of putting the series, it just seems like a tough decision to have to make. Like, oh gosh, his Demon Hunter won. What am I gonna?
Yeah, well, I was looking at the numbers, and I saw it was Spell Druid was about 52% favored for Demon Hunter. Meanwhile, the Demon Hunter is a coin toss, so I thought I'd take the slightly better matchup.
Yeah, makes sense. Just go in on Demon Hunter.
Yeah,
I think this whole series just kind of proved 3 nerfs down, and this class is still extremely strong. Did anything win except for Demon Hunter?
No, the only thing that beat Demon Hunter was Demon Hunter.
Exactly. Even winning the unfavorable. Although Diamond, he emoted some oops a few times.
yeah,
Mean to do that, so he might be beating himself up a little bit. But Warrior's a tough deck to play. It's hard to calculate the right thing there. It looked like he had the advantage, but once that flipped, it shows how strong Demon Hunter is. It only needs the smallest little opening, and it can just turn things around and get victories.
yeah, and especially when it can aggro you down from what was he at, like 50 there or 40 or
Yeah, it's 16 health and 26 armor, and then a few turns later, he was back at 16 health with no armor. It's pretty
yeah,
nuts.
it's a little stupid at points.
But yeah, your draw was extremely good, having the skull right, able to isolate it pretty quickly. The crucial warrior match definitely, I think, swung this series. It would have been interesting to see what happened since Druid counters warrior. We might have wound up with the Druid mirror at the end in a game 5, but that one kind of swung it around, and then your Demon Hunter just got there against the Druid. Just very well played.
Yeah, yeah, I felt a little bad about that last match. There was just nothing he can do about a curve like that.
I mean, I don't think Diamond was thrilled seeing Kane lethal him through taunts for
Um,
decades in back-to-back games.
well, yeah, what was that, turn 5, I think, for the Druid game?
It was pretty quick. He
Yeah.
hadn't had the chance to ramp too much, but yeah, it was he was taking damage fast, and he did. I'm actually curious. I wish I'd be interested to see if there's a way that we could just like load that game from replay because he had a couple of defensive options that he was not leveraging.
Right. He passed on a Wrath. He passed on a Bog Beam as well. That could have taken the lethal off the board, but maybe he was thinking the only way he loses is if you have specifically a Kane and both twin slices. So
Yeah, yeah,
kind of hard to play around there, but yeah, it
yeah.
just play out.
I was just about to say that's definitely not worth playing around.
Yeah, but you did a fantastic job. But we saw perhaps best summed up in the double Chaos Strike play of just you're hitting the gas, not slowing down. He's trying to conserve anything he does to conserve resources puts his life in jeopardy and just putting him in really uncomfortable situations over and over again.
Yeah,
All right. Well, that means that this is a pretty clean week for the cult this week. How are you feeling about that?
oh, very good. We really needed it. We were starting to fall out of it a bit, and then we really needed the points.
Yeah, this one putting you at 2 and 3, a 23-point week. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. So the cult back to putting people on notice. It'll be interesting to see what happens next week.
Yeah, and just want to say if you want to hear more about this matchup and all the other matchups, tune in for Tuesday night for the Saloon.
What's
Excellent.
going on? What was going on? Was that a free plug?
Yeah, it was.
Ooh, you didn't pay the toll for Saku.
So, yeah. But yeah, I guess that about wraps us up here. Anybody want to go over quickly what we have going on all this week? I guess I could do that.
I always defer to your wisdom, Saku.
I don't have any wisdom. It's all out of my head now. Mold.
I got my eyes closed, head first. Can't lose.
Defer to your mold, Saku.
There you go. So just anybody that's new viewers out there, we do have quite a few shows that are on Twitch. So first one's going to be Wilding Out on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Has a good crew there with it's me, Mike V, Marty Brodeur, aka NHL New Jersey fan. And I think Memnarch was one, and then they usually have a guest float in there. I think it was Base Tink. She was last week, I believe. Oh no, it was Craig of Canada. That's who it was. So, then we have the Saloon. So Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. So Ted, do you guys have a guest with RonMexico on stage?
Yeah, we do. It was originally not supposed to be, or we originally weren't supposed to have a guest this week, but we have a special guest, Quaz, joining us.
Nice.
In his grand return to the saloon.
Perfect. Well,
that's right. We couldn't turn down Quaz.
Yeah.
Despite my objections,
I'm sure there was many.
Just kidding. Quaz, we're excited to have you on.
Then we have Hearth Center on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern with Don Day and Lotus Knight, and sometimes there is a guest on there as well. Tavern Talk clocks in on Thursdays with Dano hosting with Ducharmo, JR Juggala, and possibly a guest as well.
Actually, this upcoming Tavern Talk, Dano was not going to be able to make it, so Ducharmo asked me if I could be the guest lead. So I will be running Tavern Talk this upcoming Thursday with Ducharmo and JR Juggala.
Well, see, Ted, he's already jumped a ship already, man.
Wow, I see how it is.
That quick.
Hey, sometimes you gotta help some people out.
Not even 6 weeks deep, and he's gone already.
Oh, if the opportunity had presented itself sooner, anything to bail on Ted. Oh, that would be great. If only they'd rang like 4 weeks ago.
Oh yeah. Imagine if this was Tuna hosting on the Saloon. Forget it.
Oh God.
Be a big stick figure there with RonMexico on it with an X on his face. So
trust me, that man's never getting anywhere near Saloon.
That's right. Got to preserve the quality.
Yeah. So, and to finally wrap up the 4 final shows that we do, they're actually all matches. We have Friday Night Fights, which is typically hosted with myself, sometimes DollaBilz, sometimes Ted, sometimes Silver Fox Demon, and a few other guests that you'd like to jump in there. So we got Schoolstone that's usually hosted at 2 p.m. Eastern on a Saturday and or Sunday. Salty Saturday with Don Day and possibly Dano, unless he's getting subbed out by somebody else. I think last Saturday or yesterday was Markshire, right? So that usually starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then finally Sunday Showdown, which has your various talent that shows up on Sunday. Myself, Ted, DollaBilz, RonMexico, Cord, and whoever wants to jump on and want to chip in for casting can certainly do so. That usually starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. So, any final words there, fellas?
This has been a blast. These the Me, Myself, and I versus Glocko matchup and the Diamond versus Big Ted. And of course, I tried to pretend like I was unbiased, but I was just the Friday squad. I just wanted Ted to win. And then when I saw that first match, I was like, oh no, the Hunter lost. And then I was like, oh no, it's a mirror match. But then I was like, oh yeah, he won the mirror match.
Don't worry, I'm sure that was balanced out by Ron cheering against me.
Right.
Actually, Ron was very supportive of both players.
Slightly balanced, I thought, because I can just tease whoever loses. So it felt like a win to me.
It was definitely a win-win, right? So,
but yeah, this was a great set of matches. Absolutely, this was a lot of fun. I always enjoy coming on here and casting with you guys, and it's a pleasure to, have a chance to just play some Hearthstone, watch some Hearthstone, talk some Hearthstone. It's good stuff.
Yeah. DollaBilz, final.
This would not be possible without Saku. So a huge thank you to Saku. That was just be me shouting into a void on a Discord call with RonMexico, which would be fun. But it's also fun that it makes it beyond that as well, not just a.
That's for a different night, but
right. That's right.
We digress. Yes.
So thank you to Saku.
All right, Ted. Final words, dude.
No, just thank you guys for streaming our match tonight. It was fun.
Thank you for winning and hopping on here like you own the place. All right, everybody. Well, be safe out there. Wash your hands. This is from Brushy. Be safe. and we will see you on Monday.
Have a good night,
Have a good
everyone.
one.
See you guys.
Part-